past 20 months has seen more people embrace online games than ever before, with 50% of the population now participating in some form of online gaming on a regular basis. But this has also led to an increase in online fraud.
Now, this is Jamie Woodruff. Jamie, well, I think it's fair enough to say you know your way around the internet, Jamie, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's a good agreement, yeah.
I think that's fair enough. So basically, what do you think about the restrictions that are being proposed here? Are the government overly optimistic about what can be done?
Yeah, so I think it's quite a positive thing, really. I mean, if we kind of look at it from, an online gaming perspective, there was around about 480,000 connected devices. TalkTalk published some research on Christmas Day. So if we kind of go back to that and how many people are, playing these types of online games, playing multiplayers, collaborating online, it's going to be a very serious thing. But when you kind of look for the Misuse of Communications Act that was wrought in like the kind of 90s, it wasn't really adapted to working from home, which we've seen over the last kind of 2 years. So I think the proposed regulations is definitely kind of a positive thing. It's going to be looking after a lot of people that don't have that type of access to readily available information. So I'm kind of looking forward to the proposed changes. But again, I think we're a couple of years off yet.
So another concern you have, Jamie, is fraud online to do with gaming services. So does it tackle this? Do you think the proposed online safety bill will actually help prevent this? Because so many people fall victim to this.
Yeah, understandably. And it's not just that, it's stuff like digital assets within games that are being compromised and being stolen. A lot of people want to get better and further within these types of online games. So they sign up to third-party websites, they share their information to purchase kind of digital currency to kind of better themselves. But when they share that type of information, what they don't realize and understand is that information could then be essentially reused or resold. So, for instance, they could recover their passwords from their email account if they've reused the same password.
Jamie, I know, but you see, almost everything, if you order something, you can't progress unless you do give that information. So I know you say people don't realise that this information is used elsewhere, but often if you want to make a purchase or you want to gain access to some sort of site, it's either give me those details or you don't get any further. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, and that's just kind of approach that we're seeing as well. So, from a safety perspective, you need to ensure that obviously it's from the developer that you're purchasing content from. You're not using any kind of third-party plugins. Always have an up-to-date antivirus on your system. It's so important. And if there's any updates or patch management that need to be done as well. So taking all these things into consideration will help protect you. And even stuff like family safety settings, on consoles, ensuring that you have them enabled and they've been set up correctly.
That's such good advice. And I suppose lots of parents watching this will worry about, all the reasons I suppose this bill is being brought. What about those people who say that free speech is under threat by some of these suggestions that are being put in it, whether or not we should be wary of government regulation of the internet, for example?
So I kind of, it falls upon all sides, really. I mean, if you've got nothing to be worried about or you're not doing anything, wrong online in a sense, and you've nothing to worry out or to watch out for. I understand from a privacy perspective, again, there's a lot of information that we kind of transmit. Our entire lives are pretty much 80-90% online throughout the day, whether it be on our devices, whether it be on our laptops internally, or even consoles, or from a gaming perspective. So again, if you've got nothing to hide, then I wouldn't worry at all. But I think it's something that needs to happen and needs to help kind of change our future and change the landscape, if that makes sense.
What about changing your future and your landscape, Jamie? I'm just fascinated, knowing what you do, looking at you there. There you are sitting in your living room there. And you know what people go on...
That's my little office.
Oh, it's your office. Well, it looks very comfortable for an office. Nice sofa behind you. People will say, you shouldn't be online for any more than an hour or whatever. Give your brain a rest, give your eyes a rest, whatever. Well, for you, it's a full-time occupation. How do you think it's impacted on you, if at all?
Yeah, so I mean, it's very difficult, really. So I have a young daughter. She's 3 next week, called Eleanor. And the moment I brought her back from the hospital, I think in the first 2 to 3 days, I completely set up a different network for her internally at home. And now we've got a baby boy due in August. Again, I'm going to be setting up a completely different network. But I've always had that approach to security and to safety. It's very important. So you know, we wash our hands, we kind of brush our teeth, we have showers, we adapt this hygiene. And I think we need to adapt this type of cyber hygiene in the sense to, you know, when we're using kind of ATM machines, ensuring our pin's very secured, you know, we're hiding it from individuals watching potentially. But even then, technology is readily available. You just need to know where to look to be able to exploit somebody. So it's not like back in the old days where you'd have to create your own exploits or kind of create your own content to kind of distribute. Everything's there. You've just got to know where to look. So it's quite a scary element as well.